This year, I went through my fair share of tech purchases, especially Apple products for the most part, but only a small number truly made an impact on my daily routine. In today's video, I want to share the Apple devices that genuinely improved my year, how I integrated them into my life, and what I've learned from using them. Maybe it'll help you figure out which ones are actually good for you. Okay, first I want to talk about my M5 iPad Pro, and to be honest, it was one of the biggest surprises for me. I originally thought of purchasing this device that it was going to be somewhat of a supplemental device to my MacBook Pro, but at the end, I just realized that I wasn't editing on the go as much as I intended to. In fact, I just changed my whole workflow now, so I ended up selling my M3 Max MacBook Pro and kept the 13-inch M5 iPad Pro because the versatility that I get with this device honestly makes more sense for my usage. I currently have my M3 Ultra Max Studio in the office, so whenever I have to do anything heavy, I just go here. I just realized I wasn't really editing when I was traveling to the same extent that I was doing here, and for the things that I need, I think the iPad Pro will do more than enough. The tandem OLED display looks incredible, crisp, bright, and just beautiful to look at whenever I'm writing scripts, handling business planning, or tackling my usual productivity task. And when it's time to relax, it's a perfect device to just watch my favorite shows or play a game, even though that doesn't happen too often, but when I do, it's just super convenient to have something like this. Right now, for me, the iPad Pro has become this rare device that originally wasn't meant to be like an essential, but as I ended up using it more and more, it replaced my MacBook and now has become something that is more of an essential device for me, but I will elaborate more on my review that is coming up soon, so stay tuned. Now, the M3 Ultra Max Studio has quickly become one of the most important tools I own simply because it's the one machine that can do everything I throw at it. Like I mentioned earlier, I used to have an M3 Max MacBook Pro and it was my dedicated machine for everything YouTube related, but after a while and as my skills started to, grow, I was having some issues with DaVinci Resolve, especially with some features like depth maps, or noise reduction, even some masking and heavy effects. After a while, it became annoying that after running certain things, the playback was becoming too slow for me, and I know that you can reduce the resolution and maybe work a little bit better at 50%, but even with that, some features really took a big toll on my MacBook, especially because I needed more GPU, which is something that my M3 Max really covered and fixed for me completely. Every project, every effect, every timeline just feels effortless now. And sure, I'll admit it, most of the time I'm not pushing it to its limit because I'm not constantly running depth maps, heavy noise reduction, or complex motion graphics. But there's something reassuring about having a machine that reminds you that your creativity is the only limit, not your hardware. And the best part is knowing that even though it's expensive, it's gonna last me for a very long time. So for me, that's basically money well spent. But even when pairing such a powerful computer with the amazing studio display, as much as we have peak image quality, there's a feature where it lacks big time, and it's the camera. No matter how you look at it, it sucks. But OBSBOT has a very good looking accessory to solve that problem. The Meet 2 is a very compact camera that takes all the great things of your studio display to another level. This camera has a beautiful 4K resolution sensor with an aperture of f1.8, which in other words means that it has great low light capabilities without the noise you get with the native camera of this monitor. One of the coolest things that it has is gesture control, so if you raise your palm, it'll track you as you move in your space, which can be very practical during meetings, and when you're done, you can just repeat the gesture and it goes back to its default view. The same thing goes for the zoom gesture, and I personally find this one very useful when discussing products with other people. The auto framing is also really good since you don't have to be centered to the camera to have a proper view on the video, and if someone joins you, the AI will do its magic to fit everyone in the room without the need of pressing anything. The same thing goes if you want to change your view mode from landscape to vertical to fit the platform of your choice. And I get that privacy is extremely important to me as well, so instead of getting those slight stickers and using bad adhesive to cover your camera when you're done using it, you can simply magnetically attach this cover to your camera and you're good to go. So if you're interested in trying cameras from OBSBOT, the Meet 2 will launch a big discount stack with exclusive 5% discount code of up to 28% off during Christmas sale, and the Meet SE will get 21% off. So if this is something that you're interested in, make sure to don't miss out because it's gonna be a really good upgrade for your computer. Now this one is kind of a given because the AirPods Pro 3 has been for me an essential from the beginning. I've had the original ones when they first came out and I used them all the way until they were pretty beat, and then I got the 2, which I kept the original ones with the lightning connection for the longest, and when the generation 3 came out that had improved noise cancellation, I was sold. I was like, I need this for the gym and for my daily commute, for working on the go, and it's something that I've been using simply every single day, and I always have them in my pocket. I carry them with me, as I said before, everywhere I go, and while there are definitely strong competitors out there like the Sony WF-XM5s and the Bose QuadCom 4 earbuds, the overall package Apple offers here is just incredibly solid. The sounds, the noise cancellation, the transparency mode, the seamless integration is all dialed in. They've just become one of those small but reliable parts of my everyday setup. Another new addition to my Apple setup is the Apple Watch Ultra 3, and honestly, as much as I love this thing, it's one of those upgrades I think most people could comfortably skip if they already have the previous generation, because it shares so many of the same core features that made the Ultra line great in the first place. The rugged titanium build, the big and bright display, the customizable action button, the dual frequency GPS, the excellent health and fitness tracking, and the fantastic battery life Apple has been nailing since the first Ultra. Of course, the Ultra 3 brings some new features and improvements like the updated processor, even brighter display, and some of the newer software tricks, but for most people, those aren't game changers in my opinion. They're great to have, but not necessarily must have. What is a game changer for me though is the battery life and the screen. It gives me everything I need to stay off my phone as much as possible, especially when I'm working out and really trying to cut down distractions. Another thing that is not as important but is also new to me is the black titanium. As you guys see, I'm slowly switching to black titanium or black color for Apple devices because I find myself like enjoying that look more. Unfortunately, the iPhone is only silver this year because I was looking forward to getting in black. Now I have my iPad Pro in black, my watch in black, and the only thing I have pending basically are my phone and my Mac Studio. But obviously for the Mac Studio I really don't care that much. For the phone, it would have been perfect if it was black. So hopefully next year, hopefully they bring it back, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I still think the classic silver will always be part of Apple's identity, but I can't deny how good the black looks, clean, minimal, and just looks so much better in my opinion. And to finish this up, the one device that always sticks with me, the iPhone 17 Pro. I try a lot of smartphones throughout the year, different brands, different styles, but nothing really matches the versatility of the iPhone, at least not yet. The new design, the performance, the camera system, it all comes together in a way to make this phone feel reliably great every single day. The camera processing especially continues to surprise me. There are moments where I take photos and I genuinely have to double take because the result looks so good straight out of the camera. And on the video side, it's the same story. Another thing worth mentioning is just how consistent the experience is across the entire ecosystem. The battery life is solid, the display looks incredible in any lighting, and the overall stability of iOS makes the whole experience feel seamless. It's a kind of phone that disappears into your life because it just works until it surprises you again with a photo or video that you didn't expect to look that good. It's not flashy, it's not trying to reinvent the wheel every single year, but it's reliable, powerful, and creative in all the ways that matter to me. And that's why no matter what I try, the iPhone always ends up being the one that stays in my pocket the most. But yeah, that's basically all of the Apple products that I bought this year that I feel like have become an important thing in my life. So I hope that I give you at least some perspective and how maybe you can use those devices in your life as well, or maybe give you a little bit more of an idea if you like them or not, or if you need them or not. But yeah, the next video will be the iPad Pro review, which is coming very soon. So if you guys want to watch that and watch more of my content, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye.